oh me, oh, this is hilarious, after that first fight of the year contender perfectly encapsulated the brutality and the beauty. And the boxing public, for their viewage, once again will be treated to another clash of the titans when Froch and Froch-Groves renewed their bitter rivalry on May the 31st. Now, the controversial nature of the stoppage and the perception that the fight did not reach a natural conclusion resulted in a fervor among fans, which ensured the rematch had to materialize. Now, the promise of another punching battle means the paying public will have no problems putting their hands in their pockets in order to see the rematch. Now, this second coming of Froch versus Groves, it will exceed in even the glorious drama and action the original battle had. But simply, Carl Froch couldn't perform any more poorly than he did in the opening stages of their first fight. At times Cobra struggled, he moved around the ring like, he had been jabbed with a tranquilizer dart, and his trance-like state contrasted sharply with the demeanor of the young snake charmer Groves, who was full of venom. Now, Froch showed, such contempt for the young challenger's credentials in the build-up of their first fight, and so nearly paid the ultimate price for his complacency. Now, he was totally surprised by Groves' ability to box intelligently and bang away with abandon in equal measure. Now, most of all, he learned he can hurt Groves by the hard way, by getting planked on the seat of his pants in the first round after being caught flush on the chin with a murderous short right hand from the challenger. The power angle and timing of the punch would have been a telling effect on any super middleweight in the world. Froch survived that flirtation with death, but he will have to assert himself on the first bell in the rematch. Many think he will. Promoter Eddie Hearn stated live and exclusively that, the difference is in the first fight, I don't think he respected Groves enough as a fighter. But now you've got his attention, and you've got his respect. That will show in his motivation for the fight. Bob Me, who's a boxing historian, echoed Hearn's sentiments when he stated, Carl Froch boxed badly that night. He underestimated Groves. He made mistakes that he won't this time around. Now, Froch cannot allow his complacency to compromise his preparations. The added motivational acknowledgement that Groves definitely belongs in the same ring as him could be a pivotal factor for their next fight. It will definitely ensure a fundamentally different approach from Froch. Will it be enough? That is the question, my friends! Groves will also be better. No doubt about it. He's emboldened by the huge success he employed against Carl Froch, and his confidence will ooze from every pore of his body than, it did in the build-up of the original Brutal Showdown. In the same interview with Eddie Hearn to announce the rematch, Groves, whose calmness is often personified, he looked into the camera and confidently stated, I went into the last fight believing I could do the things I did against Froch. This time, I know it. So Carl Froch has had nothing to do with what I am bringing. He can't beat me for hand speed. He can't beat me for foot speed. I have a better defense than he does. I know I could hurt him. You can't really argue with Groves' convictions. The outclassed Carl Froch for the vast majority of fights looks superior in every department. But lest we forget, there was a tangible change in the trajectory from the fight of the 7th round onwards. Groves was showing signs that his accumulation of punishment was beginning to have a compelling effect on him. This coincided with the point at which the damage caused by the challenger's punches was beginning to plateau. It is slightly alarming from a Groves' point of view with regards to the rematch. On the one hand, there is no doubt that Groves can hurt Froch. On the other, there is some serious question marks over whether or not he can finish him. He must pull a full stop on the action and do what no other man has done before and knock Carl Froch out. Groves proved consciously that he's a far better boxer than Froch. But regardless of the controversial outcome, the facts of the matter are that Carl Froch led everyone to the conclusion that he's still a great fighter and is far too formidable for the young Londoner to take out completely. The combustible chemistry of their contrasting styles will make this battle another fight, not a boxing match. Carl Froch's capacity to absorb this punishment is unrivaled in the sport of boxing. As he showed in their last fight, he could still balance the ability to sustain a murderous punishment with the capacity to inflict horrendous pain on his opponent. Now, once again, this could be the decisive factor in their next encounter. Now, the end of the road is still near for the Sheriff of Nottingham, but can he again bring St. George to justice? Does he have it in the tank to survive another journey of pain? So don't be surprised if the fight unfolds in a similar manner and ends in the same way. Only the premature stoppage will be replaced by a natural conclusion. In the closing stages of the fight, Groves dominates with class, while Froch decides with killer instinct.